Hello, my name is Xutech, and today I'll be talking to EVE online personality Stabity. Stabity is a member of the Goonswarm Federation, which is part of the Decline Coalition. Hello, Stabity.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. So, let's find out a bit more about you. Why did you start playing EVE Online?
I started playing EVE Online around 2006, 2007, and was initially attracted to the game because a friend had started playing it, and he sort of showed me that the whole game was player driven, which was actually really attractive to me as opposed to whatever random FPS or anything or other MMORPG at the time. The whole economy, all the fights, everything just player driven, and that really stuck in my mind.
Okay. So when you were planning out what you would do, what did you set as your goal?
Honestly, at the time, I didn't really have a goal. I was really just enthralled with the politics and the size of it all at the time. I didn't really have a goal at the time. Hard to pick out one thing in particular back then. It's a long time ago.
I mean, did you look at industrial?
Oh no, never.
Side or just straight up to PvP?
Sort of. When I'd quit around 2008. When I came back, just before Band of Brothers was disbanded, I joined Goonswarm's logistics division and did a lot of logistics work up until we lost Delve a year after that, which is sort of surprising for me. But it's the game mechanics of EVE Online just are so vast, and not even CCP understands all of them. So learning game mechanics right now is probably one of my greater drives. But
okay. Now, did you play MMOs other than EVE?
I played WoW some. I've played since Friends and Family Beta that, and I had just gotten sick of it. So I was looking for something with a bit more flavor.
So, obviously you're connected to Goonswarm now. Have you been a member before you started playing EVE?
Somethingawful.com?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about the group you're a part of now.
Goonswarm
Federation.
I guess you could say we're currently one of the more monumentous forces in the game. Right now, the past 3 months, taken over 2 regions, pretty much crushed our hated foe once again, and we're built around a sort of dictatorship structure headed by, as you all know, the Mittani.
So tell me about those 2 regions.
Cloudring and Fountain. Cloudring was held by Evoke, who have held that and lost it and taken it back probably 4 times now, I think. And then Fountain, which was held by IT and their various pets.
Okay. Now, obviously, you're an FC, right?
Yes, I am.
So you've been taking part in the offensive against Fountain, as we've talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm. I've led fleets since we started in Cloudring, and still am now.
What can you tell me about what you've seen as you've FC'd fleets?
I have seen. Geez, that's really hard to describe, because I've seen so many strange things come about during FCing, going for 10 hours straight and eventually getting into a delirious mess and having fleets just collapse. I've seen.
For example, have you seen any form of organized defense for the region?
Oh, for Fountain? Oh, geez. For Fountain, at the start, the pets would send about 150, 200 people at us, and they would all die every time. In our second week of the campaign, I think we killed about 700 battleships. After that, PNQI happened. We decided to go for PNQI. During the final reinforcement cycle, IT showed up in force, and we massacred them and took PNQI. Ever since, we've in the weeks that followed that, we went after more key systems. IT would defend every time, but usually nothing would happen as our subcap fleet would destroy half of theirs and they would just sort of run home. They never really had a solid subcap victory over us, which means it never really escalated to the capital level, except for a few times where we had, it was actually funny, our Titan pilot Daitangu, who had died earlier in the day, we had tried to bait IT out by dropping him on their dread fleet while they sieged one of our towers, and he blew up his first capital ship with a Doomsday. And then 6 hours later or so, IT caught him trying it again and killed him. Then 2 days later, we killed one of their Titans. So, but other than that, and the one capital fight we had with the NC, there wasn't any much organized resistance that did any good for them.
And have you seen any kind of, how would you put it, have there been any flagship leaders on the other side?
Not really, other than just their FC or whoever on at the time. We never saw Molly's Titan in battle. We never saw, no, not really.
And did you have any idea of the kind of, their kind of morale, the kind of,
Oh, yes, on numerous occasions we had their TeamSpeak being streamed into ours. Mm-hmm. We were constantly aware that, their morale was dropping every day, so keeping on the pressure really had to toll on them.
So there doesn't seem to have been a strong kind of planned defense or a resurgence on their side or anything like that. In fact, we've even seen complaints about lack of participation in fleets.
Yeah, IT stopped functioning as an alliance the second they lost 6 VDT, and all of their dirty laundry got aired in respect to their CEO and corp level dramas. Once those were made public and the majority of EVE saw that they were no longer a dominant force in any time zone, we often joke in Goonswarm now that we are a premier Euro time zone alliance, since we can outnumber pretty much anyone. But no, it's very similar to PR which 6 VDT was compared to, where Molly sort of disappeared for a while. And as far as I'm aware, he hasn't made a single post since 6 VDT happened.
So it's quite difficult to argue that that there's going to be a resurgence or a comeback anytime soon.
No,
that they are going to fragment.
I really expect in the next however many weeks or so that the IT corps will just cease to function. They'll drift off as DICE and BNC already have, and Maverick Navy apparently is looking to get out as well. But no, I think that most of the corps have all of their assets in LowSec already, and that there won't be very much resistance from them.
Now, they've always had I suppose you could say it's a family connection, even when they've been presented with difficulties, where when the time's come, they've come back together to, for example, with IT Alliance. Do you think they've lost that connection between the different corporations?
I do. I really do. When they originally disbanded to bolster the numbers, sort of, they took in those who the older corporations would have seen as pets, I guess you could call them, to increase their strength. And really, when they started losing and they started seeing, because they have this old elite PvP style image of themselves, and when they see that starting to happen, I imagine that's when the first cracks happened.
Okay, well, let's move back to your group. Mm-hmm. Who has supported you? Who have you seen kind of come to the fore during this invasion, I suppose, or conquest?
Well, our main support from allies has been mostly people in regions close to us, like Wildly Appropriate, Test, Fatal Ascension. Of late, they are a very strong growing alliance that I am very glad to see that they have come about this, and of course TNT, who also live in Declan with us. And more recently, the Magesta Empire Splinter Gentleman's Agreement. They're also growing exponentially. It's kind of scary, really.
And are you connected to them, do you think, by convenience, or do you feel that there's a common mindset that when you see it in another group, you're more likely to work with them?
Well, we're mostly connected to, I guess you call it the NC, and the groups near us, geographically and through old blood. A lot of the leaders are our friends, or I guess in Test's case, like-minded individuals, like you said.
Okay. Let's see. And have you seen any new FCs or leaders that have come to the fore that you might be able to name?
We have Fatal Ascension's Zagdol, who is pretty much their COO, I guess. He's been growing, and he has the potential definitely to be like a block level FC, someone who could lead our vast forces, I guess. FC development is really what I hoped to get out of the Cloud Ring and Fountain campaigns, as our FC team currently is basically 4 dudes who have been running this whole campaign.
So it's nice to have new people coming up.
Oh, yes. Actually, for example, the 6 VDT camp, which lasted something like 6 days. Obviously, 4 dudes can't FC for 6 days. So we had a lot of our younger skirmish commanders FCing the main fleets and seeing how they would do. And that was really fantastic for them to be able to adapt and sort of learn.
I did my previous interview was with Zagdol, and halfway through we had to cut the interview short because he had to relieve another FC.
Yeah.
So I can see what you're talking about. Now, have you seen other forces try to take advantage of the confusion?
Most of that's coming from moon grabbing, IT towers in areas like Iridia or something, where they have low-sec R64 moons. There really hasn't been anyone pushing in from a sovereignty perspective at all. It's we have plans laid out for the whole area, so no one's really tried to mess with us regarding that.
Now, when I was interviewing you on text, I asked you if there were plans to hold Fountain.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned that you thought it might that might be a question for other groups.
Well,
is that still relevant?
Yeah, it is. Test is definitely going to be making a home out of Fountain. They've grown beyond the constellation they have in Declan for sure, and also Fatal Ascension has, and Gents. They're all going to be making permanent homes out of Fountain.
Now, just to go off course a little, you're an FC now. Mm-hmm. At what point, how do you become an FC in a large group? How do you jump to the next level?
Well, for me it started initially back when Pandemic Legion still held Fountain and were fighting off IT in there. I had joined our bomber group, which was at the time and still is headed by Mr. V, who is basically known for refining and pioneering bomber technique to this day. And I sort of grew under his wings a bit and then learned how to be a bomber FC. And from there, I got experience leading a small group of dudes and also learning how to bomb and learning system awareness and other things you need to be an FC, and kind of just went up from there.